harassment. That article went up. It went up in the afternoon, and they immediately came after us. They were immediately aware of it because we're the only media that's covering Bilderberg. The police came over and got in our face. We had been taking pictures along with other journalists in a designated area, and they immediately got in our face and demanded our credentials, your identity papers, please, and told us that we all had to leave. That's right. They thought they had us. But I have my identity paper. I got my press card, so they couldn't throw me out. But
well, it looks like his Skype is cutting out. Let's give those guys a break. We'll try to get a hold of them later. Meanwhile, the Bilderberg coverage will continue. Be sure to go to INFOWARS.com/B for Bilderberg. David Knight and Josh Owens will have live streams and updates all weekend long, including a big protest scheduled for tomorrow. This will be just outside the Marriott Hotel, where the power elite have gathered once again to plan their global government. And that means economic, political, and military integration worldwide, which also means 1776 worldwide. Hey, the INFOWARS Nightly News will be right back. We're going to take a quick break. Stick around. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the INFOWARS Nightly News. Some interesting developments in the White House as the Obama administration had two senior officials fall on their swords today. The first, the head of the VA, General Shinseki. He has taken the fall for the veterans health care scandal. And the head liar, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney, has also announced he is going to step down. And here's a quick look at some of Jay Carney's most memorable moments.
What city does this administration consider to be the capital of Israel, Jerusalem or Tel Aviv?
I haven't had that question in a while. Our position has not changed, Connie. Can we...
What's the capital?
You know our position.
I don't.
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know. That's why she asked.
That under Secretary Shinseki's leadership, there has been a firm dedication to providing the kind of services that our veterans deserve, and we have decreased the disability claims.
Given the evidence that we're seeing coming out and the suggestions that veterans have actually died waiting to get
I think the word you used is essential because you said the suggestion. And this matter is under investigation. I would point you to what the IG said yesterday.
But you are praising the VA for all the things that have done under, been done under Shinseki's leadership.
When was the president first made aware of these problems, of these fraudulent lists that were being kept to hide the wait times? When was he first made aware of those problems?
These problems, the fact that there have been
For
bureaucracies.
some time, but the
if you mean the
fraudulent
specific allegations that I think were reported first by your network out of Phoenix, I believe we learned about them through the reports. I will double check if that's not the case, but that's when we learned about them, and that's when, as I understand it, Secretary Shinseki learned about them.
It's not about Benghazi. Why turn it over in a Benghazi suit? It seems...
you would have to ask State Department about their process for responding to FOIA requests. Again, you can just read it and then decide for yourself.
You just had an attack on a U.S. consulate in Benghazi. You had Americans killed. You knew full well that what Susan Rice was primarily going to be asked about was about that attack, a terrorist attack on a U.S. consulate in Benghazi.
Can I read the promo from your show, ABC This Week?
We now know that that was not true, that in fact the CIA director, former director Morell, just testified last month that, quote, when she talked about the video, my reaction was, that's not something the analysts have attributed this attack to. It did not come from the CIA. Right. You stood there at the podium time after time and said that she was referring to talking points created by the CIA. Now we see a document that comes from the White House, not from the CIA, attributing the protests to the video. And we have the former director of the CIA saying that that was not something that his analysts had attributed.
That document that we're talking about today was about the overall environment in the Muslim world.
Say that the attack at Benghazi was rooted in a protest over the video? That's what she said.
I know that you and I are both in a different time zone right now. But we're still in April of 2014, and this is a discussion about what she said and what turned out to be the case that we have had dozens of times in this room.
The question is about,
Why-
is it a conflict? And if you don't think it's a conflict, explain to us why it isn't.
It's a hypothetical.
What does that have to do with Benghazi at all?
Well, because
You can bypass the website and apply by phone or in person, and then it can be done in 25 minutes. But these memos say that at the end of the day, we are all stuck in the same queue because they all have to go through the same portal.
John, I get it. But the person who calls isn't the one who continues to wait after the paper application is filled. Right?
Your mocking is entertaining, but the president said that you could apply within 25 minutes.
Obviously, but John, we have never said that you wouldn't, that the process, the endpoint of the process wouldn't still have to go through healthcare.gov. So this is not.
Actually, that's not true, Jay. Look at your own words. On October 21st, the same day, you said you can enroll over the phone, you can enroll in person. On October 23rd, you said there are 4 ways to enroll in the exchanges. You didn't say they all have to go through
John,
healthcare.gov. You said there are 4 ways to enroll in exchanges.
You don't
by
have
phone,
to go through
in person.
healthcare.gov. I'm not sure what you think you've discovered here, John, but I mean,
Is
if you're
accurate
asking me,
when the president
yes,
said you can bypass the website, because you just said that it all has to go through the website. So which
John,
is it?
I think we've been through this.
We haven't. This is
You
a-
call, you have an experience with, you have a conversation with somebody in the call-in center, you give them your information, they process it for you, they bypass the creation of an account, which is where most of the bottlenecks were happening for users on the website. Eventually, that still has to go through healthcare.gov, but you've done the work with.
You didn't do the eventually part.
John, I give up.
Well, look.
We do not. This president, any president, does not command the nation's attention. You're right. It is a campaign. The president is campaigning for growth and jobs. He is out there. He is out there campaigning for growth and jobs.
A new vaccine meant to counter HIV may actually increase the chances of contracting the disease. A new study shows that recipients of an experimental vaccine manufactured by Merck using a genetically modified adenovirus actually increase their risk of contracting HIV infection. Researchers randomly assigned 800 uninfected, sexually active adults around South Africa with either the vaccine or a placebo. The results showed those receiving the vaccine had a 70% increased risk of contracting HIV versus those given the placebo. Now with this new discovery, the vaccine-enhanced risk of acquiring HIV-1 clearly shows that the cure offered from an HIV vaccine might actually be worse than doing nothing at all. And this is also the case for the Gardasil vaccine. It's been shown that vaccinating young girls with Gardasil may actually increase their risk of contracting cervical cancer. With the recent resurgence of measles, whooping cough, and varicella in highly immunized populations, research like this speaks to fundamental flaws in vaccine-centric healthcare. Children receive nearly 50 vaccines by the time they are 6 years old. 26 of those are administered by their first birthday, potentially compromising the brain and immune system at a critical developmental stage. Instead of epidemics of measles and polio, now we have epidemics of chronic autoimmune and neurological disease. Co-founder and president of the National Vaccine Information Center, Barbara Lowe Fisher, says that in the last 20 years, rates of asthma and attention deficit disorder have doubled. Diabetes and learning disabilities have tripled. Chronic arthritis now affects nearly 1 in 5 Americans, and in many states, autism has increased by 300% or more. And the assumption that these mass vaccination policies are playing no role is not only unscientific, it's dangerous. With so many unanswered questions about the safety and necessity of giving so many vaccines to children, the right to informed consent to vaccination takes on even greater legal and ethical significance. The issue of informed consent transcends medicine. What about the constitutional concept of individual freedom? If they can now tag, track you down, and force you to be injected with a biological agent of unknown toxicity today, what sort of other individual freedoms can they take away from you in the name of the greater good tomorrow?
Hey, that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. The INFOWARS Nightly News will return, Lord willing, next Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Texas time, that is. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll see you back right here on Monday. Good night.